Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now, and this is our Spend with TMS segment. Many of you have been working from home, and your home is definitely not equipped to have you working from it. That's what offices are for. You walk into the office with their ergonomic chair and table, and of course the steady Wi-Fi, not to mention the office gadgets. That includes, of course, a very basic computer or a laptop. And hence we decided to bring on board Nikhil Chawla, the founder of the Unbiased Blog, to help you prep for a scenario of a longer period of work from home. For many of you, it may be permanent as well. So Nikhil, thanks so much for joining us today on The Money Show. While most of us have got pretty acclimatized to working from home, that's not the case for, our gadgets, all the paraphernalia that we need. So according to you, what are the must-have, items for a comfortable work from home experience?
Absolutely. And to start with, yes, you're absolutely right. This is the new normal. And I definitely miss coming to the studio, the hustle bustle of the show floor. But this is what we're doing for the time being. Yeah, from working remotely to virtually socializing and whatnot, the digital transformation is truly happening in 2020. To begin with, I think the first thing I would definitely want everybody to take note of is not a gadget or a gizmo, but it's something that really relates to everything that we do work from home. It's the chair and table. When we go to an office, we're used to sitting on our desk and working on a chair that is comfortable. But now that we're working from home for longer hours, it's not like a weekend thing or few hours in a day. We definitely first need to invest in a good table and chair. It could be anything that you prefer. It could be a gaming chair or an executive chair, whatever it is. But to start with, when you're talking about work from home, it is definitely most important thing is getting a perfect table and chair for yourself, because this is going to go on for longer than what we expected. Next up is, when we enter an office space, we get to see the lighting, the ambience of the floor, and that really enhances the workflow. Similarly, I think it's really important to have perfect lighting and ambience when you're working. For me, there are a lot of gadgets that help me work better, perform better. And one particular gadget that I really preferred was the Dyson light cycle. There are a lot of alternatives in lighting, like Philips Hue lighting and whatnot, but to what I preferred was like a Dyson light cycle that really helped me go through my workflows better, because it automatically syncs. It has artificial intelligence and whatnot that really syncs with the daylight and keeps the room similar to what is outside. So that really helped me do better. Then again, I was talking about the ambience of the room when you start working. So it's important to have like a cool environment, purified air, because you'll be sitting there for longer hours and you don't want recycled air. If you have a pet, then it's definitely a good investment to get into an air purifier. A lot of brands available again, but again, I personally use Dyson, but there are a lot of options like Philips and other brands that sell air purifiers. So whatever best works for you, you should get that. Now, to coming to the work front, you need a good machine to work on. You need to be spending most of your time on that laptop or a desktop, whatever you prefer, or even a tablet. So it's really important to have that machine with you, which can perform work, your duties, from your Excel sheets to your Zoom calls that you'll be doing most of the time. So if you already have an office laptop, because most of us have office laptops that we've been working on, then I can suggest you to invest in an iPad Pro. But that's up to you completely, because what I feel that iPad Pro gives you a better front camera and also a lot of form factor availability and the OS integration. And somebody who's been into the Apple ecosystem would definitely prefer a tablet like an iPad to work on, because like more than 10 hours on a work day. So definitely makes sense to people. If you already have a laptop and you want to invest into something new for machine for working, then an iPad Pro is a great option. You can also look at laptops like the Lenovo X1 Carbon, which are very thin and light, and they really help you work better. But again, it's a lot of alternative options available. My personal preferences have been these devices. Coming on to the next thing is a good set of earphones, AirPods, whatever work for you, because you'll be taking calls. Right now also I am plugged into my AirPods, because when you're working, you want to be working on your own. You don't want to be like making the whole house working with you, right? So it's important to have that kind of noise cancellation earphone or headphones or whatever you prefer plugged into your ear, so you're working and you're focused on it. You are focused on your work. Then another factor that most of people forget is good internet connectivity. Our office bandwidths were always amazing. We had the best of internet connectivity available, no downtime and whatnot. So it's important that we have a good internet connection and a good router that can give you good speed. So there are a lot of options again available here where you can buy a good router. You can look into a mesh network where you have different routers placed around your house so that there is no network speed slowdown in particular room. So you can look at a mesh network. You can look at something like a Google Wi-Fi mesh network, which gives you speeds all over the room, and you can control which devices log in and log out. Again, it's really important to have a backup connection. It could be a SIM card plugged into a phone that you can use as a hotspot, because like, for example, if I'm doing a Zoom call right now live with you guys and there's a connection drop, I should be quickly be able to, get onto a backup connection. So it's important to have that kind of connectivity like we are used to in our office spaces. Coming to something like a data drive backups, because there are times that we face downtimes and then we're sitting idle and thinking what to do, because your data is mostly backed up on the clouds, and we all are used to it. We back up our data on iCloud or OneDrive or Google Drive, and then when we need it and there's no data connectivity, then there's a problem. So it's always good to have a backup, so you can invest in drives from Western Digital or other companies that make data drive backups. And last, I feel it's not related to work, but it's something that I personally feel helped me, is a smartwatch. You can look into Apple Watch or a Fitbit watch or something like that. But it's important because when you're working from home, it's not that few hours nowadays. It's like more than your work hours. In fact, for some people it's been 12 hours in a stretch.
All right. What about something that you noted was also office computer and home computer. Your home computer may not be fit for perhaps the speedy work that you require in your office. So any specifications that you would like to have or see on your laptop?
So I think that's definitely something that be bare minimum to hold your work. It should not be like a 4 GB RAM. I think you should go at least with 8 GB RAM, and you should definitely consider an SSD instead of a hard drive, because over the time hard drives slow down. So SSD, like a solid state drive, is faster in the longer run, and when you drop your laptop, it doesn't crash or you don't have data loss problems in that, because it's a solid state drive, not like a spindle spinning around in a hard drive, which takes times to access. So all these things matter. So I think it's good to have a 14-inch screen size. Nothing, anything less than that would be a little crammed up. And when you're working on a laptop, you need that good amount of screen size, because you'll be working for longer hours. And again, as I mentioned that, why I would suggest somebody to get an iPad Pro or an iPad instead of a Mac or instead of a laptop nowadays is because you get different form factors, you get better usability, and trust me, any other machine, any other laptop can't match the speed or the usability of an iPad. So I would definitely think or recommend the iPad Pro or an iPad over the laptops that you're planning to buy, because it does all the same things that you can do. You can attach a keyboard now, you can work like a laptop, you can use it as a tablet, and again, then privacy features and these data backups automatically happen.
Ask you this question, Nikhil, and that is with respect to becoming more self-reliant. So I'm sure a lot of people want to know the replacements to Chinese gadgets and apps. What would you recommend?
So there has been a debate, and I've been facing the brunt of this, because every time I talk about any gadget, people just jump the gun and say, you are promoting Chinese product, you are anti-India, and you're promoting this and that. And it has been a bad face for anybody who's a content creator, or who's talking about technology in terms of these smartphones and gadgets, because most of these products are in China. We can't really run away from that fact. And even if it's not made in China, something or the other in that device would be made in China, semiconductors or chip or whatever. It has to be something from China, because this is how it has been over the years and can't change like right in the moment. But if you're talking about shunning any of these brands, I don't think so. It's the right thing to do till we have great alternatives. Like no Indian brand can offer that kind of value for money right now, or even the specs. But if you talk about anything other than Chinese, then I think you can look at something like an Apple device or a Samsung device, which is a Korean device. You can look at an Asus device, which is a Taiwanese company. You can look at Sony, which is a Japanese company. So there are alternatives, but again, then if we are a value-centric country, we want the best of value in the least of money. So when that happens, that's where the Chinese win, and because of their big product cycles and several product launches and the way they have been working, the system they have, the factories they have, the mega factories or the giga factories they have, they are able to churn that amount of devices that really bring the cost down. Similarly, if you're looking at the comparison devices in India, we have manufacturers like Micromax and Lava, which have not really been at par with these Chinese brands. So at the moment, I don't think so we can really shun Chinese devices unless and until we have an alternative. And even the government hasn't banned these devices. It's just the apps that were stealing data. If the government passes a mandate someday that these smartphones or these gadget manufacturers are not allowed in India, then I think before that we need to have a foolproof plan by Indian government to have, give that push to Indian manufacturers to have that supply chain and everything in India, that they can manufacture good quality phones at great prices. Because other than that, I don't think so. If I tell somebody to buy a phone which a Chinese company is selling for 10,000 and similar specs, an Indian manufacturer will be able to give you at 20,000, I don't think so anybody would buy. People are happy to crib about it that you should not buy Chinese. But again, would you spend 20,000 for a device that you're getting for 10,000? The answer is no.
All right, Nikhil, thank you then for joining us today on the show and sharing your very interesting insights on gadgets to work from home and of course finding those replacements. Well, with that, we're out of time, so we'll wrap it up on the show. Thank you for watching.